All right,
Okay.
let's see. We're gonna get.
All right.
We're gonna get the transition.
All right.
Yep, there it is.
The audio.
What the fuck?
Yep.
Okay, so it's not the video that I made. It's something else.
Mm-hmm.
Take this one, duplicate it,
Mm-hmm.
make it. Take this one.
And I'm gonna lower the volume a whole bunch.
Yeah.
There we go.
And then just put in the image that it needs.
Yes, I'm
That's
just gonna straight up delete.
Oh man, I have so much crap to talk about. Like just all the. I've watched. Alamo did a bad thing when they gave me that pass. I've seen a lot of movies in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. But did you watch Creepshow though?
I didn't, and I keep meaning to. It hasn't made it onto my grab this thing list.
I'll talk more about it during my section of the prelude, but it's great.
Mm-hmm.
It also, you have to have an appreciation for the horror of that era, at least with the first, because
It's very. I mean, it is Tales from the Crypt. Yes,
right. It's the same concept, and each episode is like 2 30-minute like mini things.
Okay.
So we should be working now.
Yeah, we're on prelude.
Okay.
It should be where I duplicated the other one.
Okay. So we should be working now. Yep, we're good.
All right, so
cool.
something else. It wasn't the video that I made. It was
All right.
something else fucked up.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
Delete that shit.
Closing that.
Now I can actually look at the frame and see how we're all in here. Okay. I guess get closer.
Do I need to? I need to hug up.
Yeah, you can hug up a
All
little bit.
right. All right. Let's touch butts.
Yep, I think we're good.
Yeah, this looks not bad at
go.
all.
All right, cool.
All right, so now we did that. We're gonna test the audio.
Look at that. It's 7:30 and we're already at the audio test.
That's
Go
crazy.
us today.
Yeah. I was getting in some Crucible before I left. It was like 6:30. I'm like, okay, I have time for 3 matches if we completely blow them out of the water in the third one.
You've been playing,
And then we did.
Momentum Control.
No, I
Swat.
hate.
It's
I
Swat.
I hate it.
I love it because it is that. It's just headshot everything.
Yeah, as soon as I found out that a aggressive frame scout rifle or pulse rifle kills instantly with a headshot, it was like no. I was doing a lot of survival because I was trying to get the triumph so I can get my recluse. So I did that
you're still
instead.
on Recluse. I'm trying to get. I need to get Randy's throwing knife and the new one for the Gambit, and that's why I left.
Yeah, Randy's throwing knife is also one I'm working on, but I haven't started working
See,
on it
the
yet.
reason why I work do Randy's,
Uh-huh.
they literally created momentum control for you to do that.
Oh, okay, that's
You
funny.
need 450 scout rifle kills.
That
What is
makes
the
sense.
one fucking place where you do nothing but get scout rifle kills?
Is momentum control gonna stay there a while, or
It's gonna be
is it
for
gonna?
entirety of festival lost? So
Okay,
2
cool,
weeks.
awesome.
right,
I guess I
At
should
least
start
grind
doing
out the
that.
450 scout rifle kills in it.
I should.
You don't get a bunch of
Let's
them.
knock out the audio test while you guys are talking about
Yeah,
this.
I still have my Midas multi-tool, so I can probably just
If you have
knock
a
it out
Jade
with
Rabbit,
that. I do have a Jade Rabbit.
For
Oh,
Jade Rabbit, specifically also if you have the catalyst for Jade Rabbit, because it's 450 kills for the catalyst.
oh,
You guys could be talking about Destiny, or alternatively, it sounds like you're talking about vibrators.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, the Jade Rabbit vibrator is the best.
The
thing
Jade
on the
Rabbit
market.
is also
You
a
can't-
part of was it Chinese mythology?
Oh, there
It's
you
about
go.
the rabbit on the moon,
Right.
Which
Yeah.
is why there's the Jade Rabbit.
That's why it's on the
statues that are
moon.
Yeah.
Right.
My entire
right,
clan
right.
is based on that rabbit icon in the game, by the way. The Ghost of Malamars. It's like, that's our thing. That's my drop-in with my effect.
Yeah.
My ship is the one with the little ears on top, and it's bright pink.
You are doing yourself a disservice by not playing with the LSV, by the way, because they are hardcore. Like Wolf is they're
Wolf, I love playing with Wolf. That's the thing. Is like I need him to also get an Xbox.
Yeah. Are you playing on PC?
I play on both of them.
Oh, well, I asked you today for your Steam name.
Did you?
Yes?
When?
I don't know, like you're on 10?
I don't know. I looked at chat once to complain about.
It was a DM. I crawled into your DMs for that. I did. I did.
absolutely confirmed crawling into DMs.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to look at this because I don't remember this at all. Okay, yeah, 9 o'clock this morning. What's your Steam name?
What's your damn Steam name? I said, because it's ridiculous
So
we're not Steam friends.
I'm not sure which one it is because I just changed my name, in-game name.
Oh,
to,
yeah.
Fudge Pack McQuack.
That's pretty great. I love that.
Because it's still funny, like fucking 15 years later.
I have seen the best name. Somebody stole our goddamn clan name from Battle Right, me, Lash, and Ross's, which was Mr. Sister Fister.
Yeah.
And I just saw someone running around with that name, and I was like, ah, fuck you.
Cool. So these aren't working at the moment. So we'll test the other headset.
I don't
know what you did to these.
no, it just might be on the wrong audio channel.
We actually we entered a tournament under that name, and it was streaming live, while we were getting our asses kicked. But they shortened it to just Mr. Sister, and
I have no clue.
everyone watching the tournament could see the rolls like in a separate window. So they knew what our name was, and that it was shortened like specifically for the stream. Mm-hmm. And the entire chat when we started playing didn't give a fuck about if we were any good or anything. They're just like, put up their whole name, you cowards.
Okay, there it goes. Now it's connected.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it makes me sound fun enough.
Okay, cool.
I just listened to. Yeah, we have a Jade. I have a Jade Rabbit. That's all I needed to hear.
Yeah.
Yep, I got a Jade Rabbit.
Okay.
Right.
You can't even get a Jade Rabbit on Amazon. You got to go like special order Japan for that shit.
One of those ones where they have just like body pillows of anime characters.
Oh, yeah. Anime body pillow vibrator.
I feel like there's a market for that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
What if you're like, I don't know, it seems niche, but it might not be as niche as I think, because, like, I generally don't think of body pillows as a female thing.
There are a lot of females that love body pillows. So.
There probably are.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of pillows.
Just in general, but like
Enough to where it's like
you also wouldn't think about vibrators as a male thing, but then there's like the entire trans community, which is known to love anime and vibrators.
True.
I feel like we have
they're a great market
good
there.
spot.
Yeah. As long as we're all inclusive about it, absolutely.
Oh, 100%. They are for everyone, this vibrating pillow that we've officially named the Jade Rabbit.
The Jade Rabbit vibrating anime pillow.
Mm-hmm.
Put your favorite anime character on it and have a ball.
Yeah. or two.
I'm just gonna throw this out there.
Thanks for being there, James.
The slogan. the slogan that wrote itself.
Yep.
The first design is gonna be a free Hog Kong May.
Yeah.
You're gonna get Overwatch nerds.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I would only sign off on that as if partially like these sales proceeds went to like something.
It's got to go to
towards
like underground, like Antifa style Hong Kong protesters, though.
Yeah.
It's like a slush fund going into
Yeah.
their like Venmo or something.
Right.
Okay, so we have been live for a while. It
Yep.
seems to be working.
Cool.
I need to remember to press some fucking buttons, you fucking bitch.
Yep, all that.
Now that I can.
I'm actually gonna grab.
By the way, you can't see any of this stuff.
Good. I'm
That's
gonna
fine.
grab my other drink before we start, just so I can crack it.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's it. That's the top of it.
That's fine. I'll just put it down for right now so I can play with it.
I mean, that's the thing is I constantly pick it up and flip.
Yeah.
Bam.
Awesome.
Oops.
That's to have
That's
shots
why
in there.
I always scoot away, because the goddamn table leg right there. All right, we're good.
Well, where else do you want the table legs to go?
I don't know, not where like my legs go.
Well, do you want the table to stand up?
It would be nice.
It's ideal that the table not be on the ground, but we can do that too. Let's get close to each other and fucking talk into some microphones. Put your phones on fucking silent.
Time to bitch about
Honestly,
confused.
the Christmas music is allowed to start the day after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Anything before,
yes.
and I will cut you.
Having lived through 2019, I am not going to deny anybody their happiness right now.
That is an excellent point. You know what? Christmas all year.
You're
if you
right.
want it.
If that makes them happy, then
You
by
poor
all
soul.
means, you survived 2019. Fucking take Christmas during Easter if you want. I don't
hell
care.
yeah. Christmas-ween, just Christmas to Halloween is
Right,
all just,
just-
let's keep it spoopy and then roll that into Christmas.
Oh, see, that I feel like that's a really great alternative.
Yeah.
You really just keep the two holidays merged the whole way, kind of Nightmare Before Christmas style, but it just goes
Exactly.
through the holidays.
You get like a Dia de los Muertos like painted Santa and like some reindeer. It'd be fucking sweet.
Yeah, that would be. I'm totally on board with that. Oh man, yeah, it's been our end of the year show is going to be.
Oh Lord, what a year! What a year! Some things happened.
Yeah, definitely. So if you haven't listened to our show at the end of the year, we always just do an end of the year news roundup. And it's just kind of like the highlights of some of the things that happened. And I think tentatively right now, I'm just calling it 60 years of 2019 is what it's going to be called. Because that's what it felt like this year.
It did. It still feels like that. When people tell me Anthem came out in February, I want to cry.
Right?
It felt like 5 years ago.
Fallout 76 this year.
Or this year, yeah.
Take the dog out because
Yeah.
it really had to pee.
It's all right.
No, like whenever they were like the Third Reich has to last for like 1,000 years. That's literally 1 year. It's been like this has been 1,000 years
Right.
in 1 year. Like I'm done. I'm done with this shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're just
yeah,
done. We're done
Christmas
with
week,
we're done
we
with
have to make it a
Nazis.
thing.
We're done with all of it.
Yeah, no more Nazis. Could
Right? Could I go back to just enjoying killing
Do we
Nazis in
have
video
like
games?
who do we have to nuke to make Nazis go away again?
Right.
Seriously.
We literally did this already.
Did this fight?
Played this fucking level.
It was fine where it was.
You know what? Call of Duty, quit remaking fucking
Yeah,
things, okay?
You know what everyone hates in a sitcom? The clip show episode. This is the clip show episode for Nazis, and we hate it.
Who was the guy that got the genie? And the genie's like, "Hey, you can pick a famous video game to bring into the real world." And he went, "I don't know. I want Wolfenstein," instead of being like, "I don't know, Gangbang Girls 3.
Right.
And you're just like, "Well, you now screwed it up for everybody. You
Yeah,
screwed it up
thanks.
I mean,
for
honestly,
everybody."
if you're
Well,
gonna do
you
that
know
shit,
what?
you always choose Leader Shoot Larry.
Right? Leader
Yeah.
always. That's
Leader
the
Shoot Larry.
one.
Like, that's your video game world.
Yeah, it's just when you have that option, go with something fun. But if you said your choices between Nazis and like My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, I'm like, you know what? Bring on the ponies. I'm fine with that. Like I'm okay living in that world. You know,
I kind of want to just do black and white, but like just the normal world. But I get to like pick up Nazis and just throw them in the ocean, which is whenever I want.
Right.
Because that was the best part of that game. Is just like, oh hey, bye.
I really needed.
asshole.
I always had that game installed, but I never played it. And I love God Sims. I just don't know why I never got around to it.
I never really got past like 3 hours of playing it.
Yeah.
Like that's really the furthest I could ever go.
In my experience, most people didn't make it to like the third zone.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was too much fucking work.
There was a lot to do, and you never knew if what you were doing was working in classic like Peter Molyneux fashion.
Of course.
Like it's like discipline your pet when he does a bad thing. Did that work? I don't know.
I have no fucking clue if that worked. or
Yeah,
not. There we go.
You can give him a slap, or you can give him a pet when he does a nice thing, and he'll hopefully continue to do those nice things. But it was
Yeah,
there was no bar, there was no slider. I didn't have a Paragon or Renegade meter. All I knew was that he's behaving a little differently. But it was
Molyneux
really vague.
has always been very ambitious, and and you can see this about Kojima as well. But Kojima at least gets shit done.
Yeah, Kojima delivers a game where you can find shit in that game for years and years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
And be like, I can't believe they put this in the game. He made a PS2 game where the ice melts realistically.
Right.
Think about that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And Peter Molyneux has never delivered a game with like half the features he promised in it.
Mm-hmm. That's why I think it's going to be so interesting about Death Stranding, because there's been the reviews have been so across the board about it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, he just told us exactly what the game was going to be a year ago.
I
Like
feel like-
literally told us.
Amazon Ghost Baby Delivery Service.
Yeah.
Death Stranding is going to be one of those games that's going to have to be just immune to reviews. Hi, you never come say hi.
Yeah, she's being weird right now.
Yeah, she's good.
As long as she's ow. She pulled my pants and I hit my ball.
This is the quality entertainment when you come and watch our show. This is just a warm up. Wait till we get to the show itself. Speaking of which, we ready?
Yeah,
You're ready.
I mean, minus
Yeah.
the weird throbbing pain I have in my groin right now.
It's called life, Tony. It's called life.
No, that's the one. in
Yeah,
my
it's
head.
called 2019. A throbbing pain in the groin.
That's the name of our yearly recap.
Throbbing pain in the groin.
60 years of throbbing pain in the groin, all in 1 year.
Throbbing pain in the groin is gonna be my new record label.
I like it.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
That way I can do a 60 years of throbbing pain in the groin out, like best of.
All right, let's do this. BlizzCon has come and gone, but has what?
Nope, didn't work.
Nothing.
What?
Because we
happened?
plugged the other headset in. Fucked up Audacity. So now I gotta go here so I can see it.
I'm sorry, everybody. We were about to start the show, and then we messed it up. We messed it up this time.
I blame Willow. She left like she was like, oh, I did a thing.
I'm just gonna go ahead and close it.
Yep.
Nope, don't save it. And reopen it. And it generally fixes it.
Yeah, so if you are following along at home, we are going to be talking about BlizzCon. We'll be talking about other news before that, but BlizzCon is the best of it. So
I literally just had to close it.
cool.
It doesn't, Audacity, I mean, I get it. It's a free program. It doesn't like if you change audio channels.
Right. It's a very robust free program.
It is.
Yeah, no, all the shit you can do with it for free.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing about also DaVinci Resolve, but they want you to buy high-end stuff that goes with it. But DaVinci Resolve itself is fucking free. It's a massively huge fucking editing program.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, so Brooklyn talked over here, but not over here.
It might just be a lag spike.
That
Hey,
could
Brooklyn, what's up?
What up, Brooklyn?
I don't know. That's the reason why I had both of these pulled up. I
Yeah.
can't read this without my glasses.
It
though.
says
Refresh
stop.
that one
There's
now.
not a lot.
All right, now we're about to get
I'll just
started.
click- I'll just do
We
that.
were on time today, by the way.
Yeah, we
just-
were.
Just had a hiccup.
We're
right at the
still
end.
on doing better time than we normally
No,
do.
we really are. Okay. BlizzCon is restart.
I think we just keep that one. BlizzCon is
Got it right.
There he is.
Yep. BlizzCon has come and gone, but has the hype remained? Adventurers, gear up for an all-new episode.
The sound is now more and more appropriate as you describe the post-net clarity that was BlizzCon.
Originally, the episode was going to be called Post-BlizzCon Clarity. It was the original working title.
BlizzCon. Oh, that was a bad idea.
That happened. This is why you have to always be here before the show starts, because we say shit like this. I am so jealous of you going to the Arc System World Finals, because I want to see Guilty Gear so bad. It looks so good. If I need to know, by the way, Brooklyn, what you're getting it on. I was thinking PC, but I want to get it on whatever you do, so we can play together. Okay.
He's getting it for Switch.
God damn it.
Better get a Switch.
Let's do it.
Ready?
Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to the show. We are the Surly Nerd, your one-stop shop for geek news that might have flown under your radar over the last week. I'm your host, James, and with me is our producer, Tony.
Hey.
And our co-host, Hector.
Howdy.
Welcome back, by the way, Hector.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be back. I was not well last week.
But you were in chat, and we did appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's what he appreciates about you.
Yeah.
If you're new to the show, hey, welcome. This week we're going to be talking about all things BlizzCon, but before that, we have all the news that's fit to rant about for your ears. Don't forget that you can keep connected with us through thesurlynerd.com. We can follow us on all social media platforms and even donate to the show. Any penny donated goes right back into the show that we make for you every week. With all that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, adventurers of all ages, it's time for The Prelude.
Oh, wait. I'm about to swap.
That is going to be a flavor change.
Right? Going from an IPA to a White Claw?
That ain't
Jesus
my
Christ.
first radio.
It's like you just left Flavor Town and
Yeah.
showed up in...
Yeah, this
I
is
talked to the manager.
this is what it's like to go like
Hector's new name is Karen.
yeah.
All right, let's do this.
I'm making another podcast called Yeah Basic.
Yeah,
And
basic.
It's just going to be us drinking like pumpkin spice.
We call him
White
Basic
Claws.
Dave. Why do you call him Basic Dave? Because Dave's a fucking basic.
Prelude.
All right, adventurers, it's The Prelude. This is what we've been doing with ourselves this week, what we've been playing, what we've been watching, and what has been occupying our free time. Hector, you were out, so we demand that you speak up first.
All right, so I'm gonna break it. I've been playing Destiny, so that's the game I've been playing. So I don't have much to say about that, except it's
Yay.
great and I play it. So I'm gonna break it down into TV and movies. So for TV, all the new CW stuff started, beginning with Batwoman, Supergirl, Flash, and Arrow, and they've all gotten really interesting, especially Arrow. Arrow threw me a curveball last week that I cannot wait to find out what's going on this week for. So all of that's been good. Just be aware that it's out. I finished the final season of Preacher. Mm-hmm. I loved every second of it. Mm-hmm. If you liked Preacher before, you're going to love the final season. It's wonderful. Watch it.
If you didn't like Preacher before, I highly suggest not watching.
Yeah, because it's very much more Preacher. And then the last TV show was Watchmen. I don't know if any of y'all have watched it
I
yet.
have.
Yes, so
I'm caught up.
we
all
are-
3 episodes.
We are going to be non-spoiler here.
Yes, for sure.
Spoilery, and let's talk a little bit about Watchmen. I want to get y'all's opinions first, because I have a different perspective on it, I think.
Okay, so I'm only one episode in. I haven't watched the other two yet.
Okay.
Because I'm doing it as a group.
Let's focus on the first episode.
Right, definitely. And I read the comic, watched the Zack Snyder movie, loved it. Although the director's cut, the theatrical one was not very good. But as my opinion on the show goes, it kind of blew my socks off. I wasn't expecting to feel the way I did while I was watching it, and it really made me think things coming away from it.
Right. Yeah, that intro alone was very hard to watch.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah. Tony, what do you think about it?
Well, let's see. I enjoy the fact that it is trying to find a way. It's the expanded universe of the Watchmen comic book.
Correct.
It really feels like they took the world that the comic book had created and then expanded on it and made it into a real life world that other events would happen in. And this is many years later. The events of Watchmen unfolded, and now this is where society's gone, but also having it as a mirror to our own society, being like, this is where y'all are fucking up at, which is what the original Watchmen was meant to be anyway.
Yeah. Exactly.
But overall, I'm enjoying it. The acting is wonderful. The set is great. The world's awesome. I'm 3 episodes in, so it just gets better. Like, you think the first episode
We are literally
was good.
across the table, 1, 2, 3, as far as episodes.
Right on.
So.
Like it literally like the first episode. If you thought that was good, the third one you'll just be like, motherfucker.
Oh, awesome.
So my perspective comes from 2 different sources, myself and my girlfriend. As I've talked about in the show before, I like to really get her opinion about these things because, she didn't necessarily read the comic, but did watch the movie. And so I try to get a different perspective on these kind of things when we go to watch a superhero movie or something that. So, it's not just like, hey, I read the book and this. So her thing about it was she really enjoyed the first episode, but it felt vague to her, and it felt vague by David Lindoff standards.
Yeah.
A man who is notoriously good at being vague in his TV shows.
How long had it been since she'd seen the movie? Was she
She was.
good with the story?
It was fresh in her mind.
Okay.
But there's one difference, which is the way that it ends, and that one thing literally. She's like, what's with the squid?
That's true. Yeah.
And
that does kind of change everything.
That's a thing that's not explained. He keeps the Watchmen is kept so vague that we actually both, after the first episode was over, before we decided to watch the second one, pulled up a thing on a synopsis online of what the fuck is going on. Not in a here's a point for point breakdown of what happened in the episode. We watched it, didn't play with our phones, actively watched the show, and they basically go, okay, so back in the day, this thing happened, which triggered this event, which did this, and I'm like, this could have all been explained within text in the show, but because they were so bent on crafting the perfectly shaped universe and keeping it so vague, you walk away from the first episode. I can see why the first episode would be a turnoff for some people.
I could see that,
and not in a good way.
Without again, HBO shows, show don't tell very much. So when you think about the first episode of Westworld, I mean that was
I couldn't
vague.
relate to that.
Yeah, there was nothing going into that. It was here's the world, figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then they're treating that. I mean, that's the same thing with Game of Thrones. That
but you are asking people to do 2 different things here. You're asking them to accept the vagueness of the show, while B, accepting that vagueness in a world that has already been created, already been published, and that the average viewer may or may not have
I
ever.
totally get
That's
that.
true.
I totally get that. But also, they didn't explain shit for Game of Thrones, and it had been out for just as long, had even more things written about it. They just said, no, this is where you start. Whenever you put text or a voiceover before a movie
Game of
or
Thrones,
show,
the show is not a sequel to something.
So I think the reason
the world that they are showing in the Watchmen series isn't meant to necessarily be a sequel. It is this is the Watchmen universe. If you want to know more about the history, here's a comic book or a movie.
I understand.
But there's zero there. When you get past it and you look at the world that they're going to make over the whole season, you should, at the best, understand the events that are taking place within the world of the story that they are showing you. Showing you the past stuff in a wall of text is bad storytelling.
I'm not asking you to give me a wall of text. What I'm asking for is if you were going to ask me, as somebody who's maybe never read the comics before or maybe seen the movie, and you want me to tune into this show that's supposed to be the next Game of Thrones, maybe you do a really cool 10-minute primer video that
Yeah.
comes out before the series airs.
All
you
on,
can
like,
watch
Netflix,
You can
yeah.
watch on HBO Now or whatever. That's just here's what to know before going in,
Now-
and it doesn't have to hit any main points of what the TV show is going to be. But because this is a show that is a direct sequel to an existing property, something needs to be there, and it doesn't. And I don't want it to
Okay,
compromise.
I think that would be a good idea.
My
It
only
might come
answer to
down
this,
what
no,
rights they
no.
have.
See, the thing is it is a bit much to call this a direct sequel. A direct sequel would be like Dr. Manhattan leaves the planet, and now what? That would be a direct sequel. That would take place in like 1993. This is 2019. This is 30 years after that. So I think there is a lot of good storytelling to be done when you take the world after the events of the Watchmen 30 years later and make it a mystery box.
Sure.
And there's a website online that actually is collecting documents from all of the time in between Dr. Manhattan and now. And you can go and read them, and they're like police reports and newspaper clippings, and they're basically kind of catch you up on what the world did. And I know that's very ARG style, like not a good way to tell the story on TV because it's not on TV. But there was a lot of the same thing going on around Westworld, and there was a lot of the same thing going on around True Detective. The first
See, you
season.
keep giving me these examples, but the key factor here is that this is a show that is inherently a
See,
sequel.
one of the
That's
things
fair.
that you have to think
That's
about
fair.
this is what do they have the rights to whenever it comes to what they can show. I'm guessing they have no rights to show the movie stuff at all, and
Oh, yeah,
especially because this is not
You-
a continuation
you don't
of the
need
film.
to, though.
It's a
You-
continuation of the comic book.
You can-
do you do a motion comic thing that
Yeah,
they've done before,
do it.
or do you just have someone sit there in front of a camera and show you clips of
Motion
the
comic.
show, the bits? I mean, honestly, for me, it'd be someone announcing the thing, motion comic thing, be like, so these are the characters to catch you up to this point. But honestly, because there is such a time disparity between the events of Watchmen to now and the fact that this has nothing to do with any of the Watchmen stuff, that you don't need it. The most you need to know is that these Guy Rorschach wrote a book and is dead.
Now, before we
That's
get
really just about
before
it.
I do want to wrap this thing up because we're running a little long talking about Watchmen. But it's important that I bring this to the table because I thought it was brilliant. I loved the first episode, but I can see why it could be a turnoff for somebody who's unfamiliar with the property to go into what's supposed to be the next Game of Thrones for HBO and say, I don't get it. And
See, I totally understand that, and I get because it is based or an extended universe of a comic book, needing a primer for it. But much like every HBO show that I've gone into completely blind, the primer is figure it the fuck out. And HBO doesn't hold your hand when it comes to any of their properties.
Yeah,
We give
when
you
you
the
think about
thing.
the leftovers
and again, I normally don't.
Yeah, I mean,
comment on
honestly,
this.
I would love the leftovers. If it had a episode at the very end, it went, by the way, this is what the fuck it was about, because we didn't know what the fuck it was when we were making it.
It was about grief.
Right. But again, let's move past
Yeah,
Watchmen.
let's-
Just watch it.
yeah,
Watch it for yourself.
Please watch Watchmen. I'm going to go through the rest of these really fast because that was a bit of a tangent there. I saw a lot of movies this last week, and I'll start from the least to best, basically, in my mind. I saw the movie Stuber, and that seems like a weird recommendation from me. That's the one with Batista and Camille Nanjiani.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's surprisingly good. I was expecting dumb comedy with a lot of like butt jokes and stuff like that. None of that. It was actually really interesting and really fun to watch. It had great action in it and good acting. So if you want
It bombed at the
it
box
did, yeah.
box
If
office,
you
so-
want a movie to watch that's like it's not even it is kind of mindless. So if you want a movie to put on, you would not waste your time with
like you can
that.
cook dinner and enjoy it.
Exactly. Let's see. So from there, I have to go to let's go with the Joker. I saw the Joker.
Yeah.
Just go see it. I can't tell you anything about it except just go see it. I know that there's a lot of controversy surrounding it, but it's phenomenal.
I highly
and you
suggest
should
people don't
watch
even
it.
look at reviews or anything for it.
Yeah, don't
Because
look at reviews.
Whenever you went to go watch it, you were like a couple days after
Yeah.
I did, and you're like, I'm going to go watch insert this thing about the movie. And I just had to go, really can't tell you that you're very wrong about that.
Right.
You have
I
to
made
do
some
it for
comments
yourself.
about the movie based on what I'd heard in the news, and Tony didn't say anything. And after the movie, I was like, "Thank you for not saying anything. I'm so glad I went into that movie blind."
Like that's the only thing I could do is like just watch the movie if you like things that are very kind of grossly violent in some ways, and watching a person go kind of nuts.
Speaking of grossly violent movies, I also watched a movie called The Art of Self-Defense.
I got like 20 minutes into that before I had to stop.
The movie is fucking phenomenal, and you're wrong.
No, I mean like I wasn't in the mood to watch
So-
it, and I was like, I can't pay attention to this.
The movie is hilarious, and never, ever, ever once does it tell a joke. It's like constantly making you laugh at how audacious the world is that you're watching, but it's all very true to life. And then when it's violent, it's horrifically violent. It is Tarantino violent, it's Scorsese violent. And it's still funny the entire time. I had our friend Lash watch it today, and he was just cracking up with me on Hangouts the entire time. And then the last movie... Oh, no. Two more. Second to last, Jojo Rabbit.
That's not your top, because that is the top. That's
No,
the best thing I've seen this year.
I'm with you. Jojo
this
Rabbit
year, best fucking movie.
Me and Tony saw it together in theaters. It was one of the best times I've had in theaters in a long time. Watch Jojo Rabbit if you have a chance, anywhere you can.
You will laugh your ass off, and you will cry your eyes out.
Yes, exactly. And then the final one, probably the best movie, easily the best movie I've seen all year, is Parasite. Again, one of those movies I won't tell you anything about, except that don't go in expecting a normal like horror movie. The movie is somehow getting billed as like horror, and people are saying it's scary. It's not scary for the reasons you think it is, and it's not a horror movie. But fucking watch it. It's the best movie I've seen this year.
Okay. Yeah, that was I wanted to go see it in theaters because we were supposed to go together.
We were. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
Tony, anything
salty?
Anything else you have
I was just wanting to talk about how much I just fucking love Jojo Rabbit. That
Yes,
was fucking,
do that.
I mean, there are other things that I've watched. Shit, I can't remember all of them, but in my mind, the best thing I've seen this entire year has been Jojo Rabbit. I'm like, it easily needs to be Best Picture.
Yes, and I'm actually very torn about my decision on that. And when you see Parasite, you'll know why. But like Jojo Rabbit, like they're neck and neck for me right now. That Jojo Rabbit was an incredible movie.
I've watched like a
everyone
lot of
should
movies
see.
this year, and there's been some good stuff out there. And I just feel like JoJo's probably going to get passed over because it's
a comedy
It's
and
a
it's
comedy
about
and about Hitler.
Yeah,
which is very much the Academy's like, we don't like those things unless it's killing Hitler. And no comedies.
Yeah.
Let's see. This week for me is, of course, I watched all of Watchmen, or 2 episodes of Watchmen.
Yeah.
Really dug that. The one thing I did want to really briefly talk about is Creepshow. It's going to come up a little bit later in the show. We're going to talk very briefly about Creepshow. It's a Shudder series. Stephen King worked on it. Joe Dante worked on it. All the classics from the original, like Creepshow TV series are in this. Episodes are an hour long, has 2 stories, as far as I can tell, within each episode. It literally opens with a Stephen King story.
Awesome.
It's fantastic. You have to have a love and appreciation for, at least in the first episode, that 80s style horror. Because
does it have that like old campiness?
It's filmed a certain way that you can tell there's the homage to the 80s in there, like the slightly tilted camera when they walk into a room.
Too many Dutch angles, etc.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. And not every episode is like that. Every story is its own unique thing. But the ones that come from the history of the show, the movie Creepshow, very much are filmed with that same kind of homage and love to it because that's where it came from.
Awesome.
So definitely go check it out. That's everything we have for the Prelude this week. We're going to take a small break. When we come back, we'll be going into our main news segment in the Weekly Raid.
If you're still around, hi. We're recording a podcast. Yeah. We can't really talk to like individual people while we're doing the thing, but hi, how's it going?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying. If you're gone, cool.
All right.
Yeah, Watchmen is a whole can of worms that we'll have to get into once it finishes airing.
Yeah, definitely.
It's an HBO series, so you've got like a week left.
Right. Yes, you are, Brooklyn. Thank you.
Like they don't go very long, and
They're
they
usually
just leave
about
you
10
wanting
episodes
more.
if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like
Especially
they've been fucking with me with Westworld season 3 because I'm like, okay,
I feel
1
like
was amazing. 2, what the flying fuck. 3, I've seen like the trailer for it and I'm like, I don't. Can you just happen already?
Yeah.
Like, because I don't know what the fuck to do anymore.
You can't tease me with like Westworld footage because I'm just like, okay, what's going on there?
Because I don't know.
It's like
I just don't know.
the trailer for every Mad Men episode.
Exactly.
It just makes no sense. They intentionally made them make no sense. Mm-hmm. All right, let's do this.
Oh yeah. I could actually make a sound effect for that.
That's fun.
Like, I could do that. I could make us go bloop or poop. Just gonna go poop every single time. All right. The Weekly Raid.
Hey, adventurers, welcome back to the show. This is the Weekly Raid. It is our news roundup for the week. Okay, let's jump right in with some good news. I like to start us off. I like to start us off on a high note.
2019.
It's 20. It's 20.
We're not, this is
60 years of 2019.
This is an entire year. We're not allowed to have good news.
I know, but occasionally something does slip through. It was announced the Jedi Fallen Order is going to be coming to Steam, and the EA games that currently only exist on EA's Origin service are going to slowly be making their way over to Steam as well.
Nice.
Hector, why is this such a big deal?
Okay, so Origin Access was kind of the first one to separate from Steam. Ubisoft never fully did it. They never made any Uplay exclusives. You could always buy them on Steam, but you just had to go through their stupid DRM full launcher. EA said no, games will only be released on Origin when they are exclusive to Origin on PC. They kind of invented that. And not putting their games on Steam. They were the first ones to do it. And they started it with Dead Space 3, and that really pissed me off because I love Dead Space as a series. And not only did they kind of fuck over Dead Space 3, but then they made it exclusive to their stupid platform, so I had to jump over and play it.
That's a very quick way to actually lose a player base.
They're
They're going to force me to go
did.
someplace else, and I don't want to go to someplace else.
Well, this was the first before there were a multitude of different platforms.
Correct.
Where everybody and their fucking uncle was making their own launcher for their own systems.
It was easier to digest back then. You're like, okay, I guess I can get an Origin account for those games. But then
it was like Hulu. You're like, all right, well, I have Netflix and I love that, but then this has TV shows on it and it has them sooner. So fuck it, I'll also get the Hulu.
Right.
But then you're like, oh fuck, now I gotta get HBO, I gotta get Disney Plus, I gotta get whatever the fuck other stupid CBS All Access.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And what. PlayStation had that stupid fucking thing where they made
Maybe
bad shows.
CWC
We're going to be talking about that in a minute,
or whatever
too.
the fuck it's called.
But yeah, this is a big deal for EA to say
deal.
we're going to go ahead and start integrating back into Steam. Do you think that means exclusives like Apex are going to make their way? Or
I hope so. I honestly think that they have a good opportunity to put a lot of their stuff on Steam and even make a few bucks extra off of it for people who aren't buying things. Now this, I don't even think this is much in the way of speculation. I think it's just a fact. EA is hurting hard from Anthem. Anthem made so little money and cost so much money to make and is just dead.
And to keep running. They have to keep those servers up even if no one's on them.
And it's just entirely dead. And they're not they tried for a second to feign a Ubisoft move where they suddenly make the game good, and they just can't. They don't know how. Everything it's fucked from the infrastructure. It's all just a mess.
Literally the bones are rotten. It's not going to be good ever.
So they basically lost, I want to say, in the neighborhood of $150 million, considering how much the game cost to make and how much it sold on launch and then how many people went away.
Or people just straight up fucking returned it. They're like,
exactly.
yeah, no,
and
this
a
is not
lot
good.
of people probably returned it. So at this point, they need to make some friends. They need to make some good moves, because what were they going to do? Say, hey, we're releasing Dragon Age 4. Y'all come buy it. And everyone will be like, nope.
We'll be talking about that soon enough, because
played
there's a teaser for the teaser that we're getting in December that came out, which is obviously, we're not going to announce Dragon Age 4, but we're having this weird event thing where we're totally going to do that.
Yeah, so it's a huge deal that they're coming back to Steam, and I, for one, welcome it. There's a lot of great stuff on the EA store that's exclusive to it. A Way Out is one that's a phenomenal game that is kind of like
I've been wanting to play that.
Locked over on EA Access. And the most interesting part of this is that if you have EA Origin Access Premier, they're like $10 a month and you can play all our game service. It'll work through Steam.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I dig that. Let's see here. Also in the world of streaming, HBO Max made a bunch of announcements this week, actually. And I want to go through them first and then kind of ask the panel what they think this means for the future of something else. So let's just knock them out real quick. They, in a series of tweets, they tweeted out that they're going to have all DC live action films of the last decade. They'll be available on HBO Max within the first year of HBO Max launching. If you're unfamiliar, HBO Max is not an HBO service. It's just called that. But it is basically a cable channel. It's a bunch of cable channels they got together, and this is what you get out of it. There's a reason why things like The Office got pulled off of Netflix. They're all because they're being put on HBO Max. We hear that all the DC live-action films of the last decade will be available the first year of launch of HBO Max. That includes, Superman, Batman. They also said that they're going to be putting the Joker on there, so you can watch the new Joker movie on HBO Max when it comes out. They said that Doom Patrol is going to be getting a season 2 on
thank God.
on HBO Max and on DC Universe. And they also said they're going to be doing a teen comedy, which is DC Superheroes High. That's going to be a pretty fun little. It's supposed to be literally like. Think of your favorite superheroes, but in high school.
Like high school. I got like a super Pineapple Express vibe from that. Like, here's like the Young Justice League, and they're just like stoned out of their minds.
damn it.
I mean, that'd make a great episode.
I
In
would
my mind,
watch-
I
I
know
would
we went
watch that
to
show.
Sky High, the Disney movie about kids going to a high school when they have superpowers.
Yeah.
And like the main kid, doesn't.